This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you, the pit crew, are the real star of today's show. Happy Friday to everybody out there, and man, I have had myself a crazy night and crazy morning, and it's amazing I'm even sitting here doing this show. So, a little background on why today. And the reason I'm giving you some background is, once again, today I have not prepared for this show. So, I guarantee you, this is the last time we're going to go into a news show where I haven't read through the stories yet, at least this week. So, I can't guarantee it'll never happen in the future, but I don't like walking in unprepared. But just a little background. The Simpit wagon broke down. So right now it's 9 o'clock. Right now as we speak, I'm getting a $50 parking ticket for having my car on the wrong side of the street, and I had a dead battery. And my decision this morning was, do I go deal with my car, or do I hang out with all my good friends in sim racing? And for 50 bucks, I chose to hang out with my good friends in sim racing, and that's why we're still here. I thought I was going to cancel the show, but what the heck. We're going to go through it anyway. We'll deal with the car over the weekend. So let's talk what's going on in sim racing. And for a Friday, we have a fair amount of news, good things to talk about. And of course, you, the pit crew, if you have any thoughts or opinions on any of the topics that we talk about, I'd love to hear it here in the chat, and we'll go into more detail. Also, if you'd like to follow along, if you go to thesimpit.com, you'll already see the thumbnail for today's show, and all of the links to all of the topics of today's show are there at the Simpit, so you can check them out for yourself as well. So let's talk sim racing. Let's talk what's going on. Number one, this is my big story of the weekend, and that is the iRacing 24 that starts tomorrow morning at 13:30. I guess that's evening for some of you. 13:30 GMT. That's 5:30 in the morning for me. I think, our third driver. I don't get in the car until about 11:30. In total, I'll be doing over 6 hours of driving out of the 24. And I put a lot of hard work in. I feel very prepared. I'm very excited. And I'm very much, looking forward to this race. It should be a lot of fun. The three classes of cars are really good together. Very tight. It's hard to actually get around the second class except for on the straightaways. Should make for some very exciting racing. The entire race will be broadcast on iRacing.com live, but that is likely to be the top split. Our team, we're right on the brink. We might make that top split. We might be in the second split, and if that's the case, there will be no broadcast of the race. Now, you guys know me as a streamer. You know me as a guy who likes to show you what I'm doing. However, being that it's a team event and 24 hours long, I don't actually want to run OBS on this system. I don't want to be the guy to mess up the team just because I'm trying to stream my race. So, the only option that I have to show it from my end, and I'm 70-80% sure this is what I'm going to be doing. If you guys are outraged, I might not do it. But I am thinking of putting a webcam about here, a little bit over the shoulder, seeing my whole rig and everything's going on, leaving the race running on my monitors 24/7, and then you'll see when I'm in the car, you'll see when I'm supporting the team, you'll see what's going on from one of the four racers' perspective. Might be boring for half the race. I might be asleep. It might be lights out, but I'll leave the computer running, leave the camera rolling. So that is what I'm thinking of doing for tomorrow. A few people suggested that I actually try that out tonight at the SRS race just to see how it goes. Now, it'd be a disservice to our stream for the SRS race, but at the same time, it would be a good way to make sure my whole idea works. So we'll see how that plays out, but the most important thing is, if you're considering running in this race, I wish you the best of luck. If you're not running in it, I highly suggest you watch it. This will be sort of sim racing, endurance racing, the epitome of endurance sim racing. And it doesn't get much longer, and it doesn't get much more cutthroat than the 24 hours of Daytona. And the other thing for me, when it gets to this time of year, late in January, when we start talking about this race or the real-life Rolex 24 hours, this is the beginning of race season. You know, our off-season has gotten very short, especially if you're like a NASCAR fan. But racing is already back again, and that's a great thing. It was a long winter for those, if you're a racing fan, not having racing there every weekend for you and being stuck with traditional sports, which I like as well, but I do prefer racing. You guys don't like my cheesy ring? Whoever's calling me twice in a row is going to get punched in the face. They should know damn well what I'm doing at 9 a.m. every single day, so we're going to have some words with somebody. And I apologize for my cheesy default ring of the Samsung phone. All right, moving on. That's enough on iRacing. Next up, Assetto Corsa. They've got a big sale going on right now on the PlayStation. So you need to go to the PlayStation Europe-only store. But if you're looking for some of the DLC, looking for Assetto Corsa, good opportunity to take advantage of that. Not much to talk about other than that. Next up, Raceroom. You know, they've done their patches. They have the Porsches come out. And they're starting up their new GT3 series. And that starts today. So if you go to there, you're going to see the stream on Twitch. And, you know, it's a good time to get over to Raceroom and get in there and start doing some racing. I mean, the one thing I'm going to keep pushing you guys to do is get out there and race. Represent. Show the world what you can do. So Raceroom's got great racing going on. We're going to see more and more of this going on. Lots of stuff going on in sim racing for us. Next up, I only brought this up because I thought this is one of the coolest rigs I've ever seen. This is at Sim Racing Hardware, and if you don't know them, like these button boxes here that we're looking at on the side are Sim Racing Hardware. Also, these extension to the Thrustmaster wheel dashboard and displays are also made by Sim Racing Hardware. But this looks like basically an 80/20 profile with some inserts put into the slots in black. Gotta love the black and red. Very Batman. What I find interesting with this blacked out rig is that it's in a room with a yellow and like sort of a pinkish purplish wall. A lot of color in that room to have a blacked out rig, but there's very rare times where I see a rig that makes me think, man, I'd rather have that rig than mine, but this one is right up there. So don't even know whose rig it is. I just saw that picture and I thought, man, I want to show everybody, because if you're out there thinking about your next concept of rig, even if you're not using 80/20 profile tubing, just this platform, this shape, this configuration looks pretty... Yeah, extrusion tubing, John. Absolutely. So, yeah, AC doesn't seem to do a lot of sales in America. You know, if you really think about it, Assetto Corsa is a very Eurocentric sim. Majority of the content is engineered towards what people would watch on TV and be a fan of in Europe. I'd even dare say that iRacing is a little American-centric, and they focus a good portion of their energy into American racing, with being very NASCAR-heavy. So you're going to find that. But yeah, it does seem like Assetto favors the Euro crowd just a little bit. William likes the keyboard holder. I thought you said the key. So I was actually looking at this. This is like a ignition switch thing right there. Yeah, that keyboard holder is tucked into a really nice place. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a beer tap on this thing. It is so complete. What I don't see... Oh, there it is. He's done what I did. It looks like his PC box is hidden behind his center monitor, which is exactly where I put my computer on my profile rig that I run in. Well, actually, it's not a profile rig anymore. I'm in my R-seat with an R-seat stand that I then put a bunch of profile on the back of and created a rack to hold some of my components. But very nice, very complete rig. Those look to be Thrustmaster T3PA pedals. So, if you know, that's the one thing that kind of strikes me. All this incredible rig and running a Thrustmaster T300, it looks like. Yeah, battery cutoff. Yeah, you're right. That's what it is. Like, it's the emergency kill switch for electricity. Michael, rumor is that they did, or a portion of. Don't know. Don't know. If you saw the video, which I'm sure is what you're referencing, that's what we all know. Next up, there's an article here out at pushsquare.com, and it's a guide to the best PS4 games, and I'm not going to dwell on it, but just going down in order. Number 10, Trackmania Turbo, never played it. Number 9, Tiny Tracks, never played it. Number 8, Redout Lightspeed Edition, never played it. Next up, Dirt 4, I played a lot of it. Wipeout Omega Collection. I haven't played this version. I have played my share of Wipeout. F1 2017 at number 5. Project Cars 2, number 4. Dirt Rally, number 3. GT Sport, number 1. And the big shocker, GT Sport, number 2. And the big shocker coming in at number 1, and this is arguable, Drive Club. Came out in 2014. So, obviously, the writer of this article has some strong opinions on what makes a great sim or driving game. I don't dispute the ones on the list. I might dispute the order slightly. But I always like seeing articles that are dedicated to us. This is a gaming magazine specifically doing an article on the driving side of things. Daniel, there is a workaround. Technically, yes, to be a patron, part of the patron group, you do need to, I don't even know what it's like to start an account, to be honest with you. I just started from the patron side, not from the member side. If you are just completely opposed to it, send me an email, Sean, SHAUN, at thesimpit.com, and I will make an arrangement or give you another option, which I've done for a few people who, for whatever reason, didn't want to join the patron program. But I want to make those perks available to everybody, so let's not let that stop us. Send me an email, and we can work that out offline, off the air. Yeah, I mean, Drive Club's a fine game. I have nothing bad to say about Drive Club because it is what it is, and I think they did a really good job, my opinion on Drive Club, of giving you what they promised and being the game or sim that they promised to be. So I don't dispute Drive Club and its quality, but I do definitely, I mean, how do you put that over GT Sport? How do you put that over Dirt Rally? How do you put that over Project Cars 2 F1 2017? How do you put it over Dirt 4? But yeah, and you know, you just hit the nail on the head, Riku. But this is an opinion. This is the opinion of a writer, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. And the last thing I'm ever gonna do is tell somebody they're wrong when it comes to opinion. So Stefan Tailby, this is his opinion, and he is a writer for PushSquare.com, and I think that's a very relevant point because I see a lot of sim elitism, sim racism, and, you know, as much as I have my opinion on best wheel, best sim, and all those things, that doesn't mean that is the only way. These things aren't the same as 1 + 1 = 2. When you're talking about opinion, everyone's right. Different strokes for different folks. If we were talking about women, some people find blondes more attractive than brunettes. Some people find tall women more attractive than short women. The list of criteria go on, and I think the same is true when talking about our games. So, next up, there's an interesting article here at WCCF Tech. So, you know, the whole update on the Xbox One and getting Horizon to it. Well, they came through with 4K, but it came through at rock solid 30 frames per second. Meanwhile, the sim racing crowd on the console world is pretty determined to get 60 frames per second. So this interview with them basically went on for them to say that if they had stuck to 1080, they could have pushed 60 frames. The Xbox One will do that, but they didn't. So I don't know if just because this article questioned them might make them look back at that. How much different would Forza Horizon be at 60 frames versus 30 frames? I think that is a better question on the other title from Forza, in terms of Forza instead of Horizon. But it does bring up issues, you know, and how many of us are running 4K? How many of us need 4K? And would you have taken 60 frames over 4K, I guess, is the big question. Just catching up on some of your guys' chat there, some cool comments going on. Basically some conversation between you guys. This is an article I haven't read, but Sim Racing Observer has become one of my favorite sites. So congratulations to Jake Sperry for making a pretty big fan out of me. But this is his take on the whole new qualifying setup that's going on in iRacing at the World Championship level. And what cars feed into the next series, how it is different on the road versus the oval, and how it could actually play a role in who's in the top fields. Which is interesting, because they've changed the structure. Whenever you change the structure, that leads to argument. If tomorrow I was to tell you guys that we're actually not going to run at Brands Hatch, I'd get a bunch of emails in the Sim Racing Systems series. I'd get some emails from people being outraged. They've already prepared for Brands Hatch. How dare I change it at the last minute? I think a lot of people have been working their way up the ladder, and I'm sure there are some people who are thrilled by the new qualifying into the Grand Prix series, and I'm sure there are some people who are just downright upset about it, and it's probably a matter of whether it favors your driving style or what you've been doing versus whether it's completely the opposite direction. But cool article. Check that out at Sim Racing Observer. Next, this is very interesting. Fusion Sim Racing. And I'm not super familiar with this team, but they managed to get Amazon Web Services as a sponsor. I mean, right now in today's day and age, I can't think of a bigger sponsor name in the world of esports than getting Amazon. And Fusion got them as part of their team. So here's a whole article at FusionSimRacing.com. Another write-up about it here at their Facebook page as well. And, you know, what kind of blew me away, and you guys helped me out here. So there are a few of these names on the thing. So team managers, Rice Gardner and Scott Stevens. And I know both of those names from being around. And I'm looking here at the list of names, and you guys tell me from your awareness of racing. But this is the group that is now got Amazon as a sponsor. So as we talk about moving forward towards that esport world, when we talk moving forward, like, forget the money they might be getting. Amazon on their jersey, on their website, might be enough to have their team be one of those teams who's getting the invite to the big esport events. You know, and I say it all the time, and at some point, we're going to have a big aha moment where we're like, oh, look, it's happening just like we've been predicting, where the haves and the have-nots. The money is coming in, and it's changing the dynamic of what is perceived as the best of the best. We look at the Sim Racing Observer rankings. Well, they might just ignore those rankings when it comes to sponsorship or to who's going to go to the big events. So, great job by Fusion Sim Racing in getting that taken care of. Sometimes it's just a matter of asking. I get a lot of sponsorship requests for the Simpit, and it's like, well, with a $50 parking ticket, I'm wiped out for the month. You're barking up the wrong tree. What you might need to do is look at some bigger companies. And, you know, we've seen, 100 esport articles in every type of magazine and website across the board, which means these companies are getting aware. When you send an email to the marketing manager saying, hey, we're a popular esport team, their ears are going to perk up. This is a big deal. Amazon's getting involved. Facebook's getting involved. The list goes on and on and on. So if you are out there, you're a team, and you want to move to the next level, it is the time. Don't cry in a year when everyone else has Amazon and you don't. So next up, we've been talking about the ROC, the IRacing, and Rudy Van Buren on his way to Riyadh for this big event, which is going on, I believe, this weekend. So, gosh, I'm going to be racing. I wanted to watch the stream of this. I don't know how I'm going to do both. I'm going to have to double-check the exact time of when this is going on. But I brought it up purely because this is the track layout, and whoops, and they have brought back the crossover point. So instead of it being two mirrored tracks going opposite directions, they actually crisscross, and that should make it a much more exciting event. But this is partially a look at the track, which we should hope we'll get a copy of. I've not seen a copy of this in Assetto Corsa for us. Wouldn't that be cool, though? Wouldn't it be cool to have an event for us on this? I would love to do that for Friday Night Fun or something like that. Next topic. This one I didn't read, so forgive me. But this is part of that whole Torah league that was going on. LMP3 Cup Esport Championship launched. So I have the descriptions, lmp3cup.co.uk, and the schedule is now out. So here lets you know February 6th is when the whole thing kicks off. You can go to the onlineracingassociation.com also and get signups going. But if you want to get into this, which is going to be, you know, again, getting in early is going to be an important factor of the whole esports scene that's been going on. So Dan, we'll talk about my practice in 1 second. I have one story to go, then we'll move on to all my purpose stuff for the Simpit itself. Yeah, it did look like a slot car track, didn't it? So, next story, and this is just one more step. Facebook giant step into esports. So, we've seen it. Amazon, Facebook, Dell, Alienware. We're seeing Formula One. We're seeing Logitech. The esport world is here, you guys. This is it, 2018. I'm going to stop talking about that now. We're done with esports as a topic today. So let's just move on to finishing off this show, talking about what I have going on at the Simpit, and wishing you all a good weekend. So tonight at 6 o'clock, we will have race number 2 at Imola in the McLaren F1 GTR season. If you watched last night's race, I had a real nasty race. Some people told me it was pretty entertaining to watch, so sometimes my sorrow is your guys' entertainment. I'm fine with that. You might want to check that out. But tonight at 6, we'll be racing. If you would like to get involved with us, we're mid-season, but it's not too late to get out there and get involved with us. Get in, go to simracingsystem.com, join there, free membership, costs you nothing. All you need is Assetto Corsa, and you are up and running with us. We have a 24/7 practice server. You can go there right now. If you go, I don't have my graphic for this. Let me bring it up over here. If you go to thesimpit.com, right here, I have the wrong graphic up, but right here, lap stats. Where are you on the leaderboard? Oh, wait. I have my center screen up. There we go. So if you go to simpit.com and you scroll down on the right-hand side, lap stats, where are you on the leaderboard? You click on that, and that's going to take you a page where it's going to show you exactly what's going on our practice server. You can get a good idea who the fast guys are. And right now, look at this. We got some close times here between Sayip with the 142.368 and Jonathan White with the 142.652. And so if you want to just see, this goes all the way back out. So those are mind-blowing times, 142s. But at this point, we have had, bear with me, 256 people post times on that practice room. So this has sort of become a leaderboard. Even if you're not going to race with us, it looks like we have competitive lap times going all the way out to the 2-minute mark. So you know you'll be able to find yourself somewhere in that list. Come join us for Sim Racing Systems. We have a lot of fun. Again, tonight we're at Imola. Next week we'll be back at Brands Hatch. And, you know, tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when I'll be streaming the race live. And I think we are going to be doing the overhead camera. We're going to do things a little differently. Michael, I don't know if I'm the guy to do, you know, those who can't teach is a famous phrase. And when it comes to relaxing on track, man, am I not good at relaxing. But I could tell you the tricks to relaxing. That just doesn't mean that I implement them myself. Next up, we've had a few additions to the map viewers over the last few days. Thank you guys for sending those in, sending them to me directly at Sean, S-H-A-U-N, at thesimpit.com. We are trying to cover this entire map in red pins. I'd love to see some guys in, like, Russia. I know of some Russian sim racers, so I'd like to get some Russian guys out here watching the show, being part of the pit crew and representing that region, and that would help fill in the map quite a bit. But if you are not there, please send me a note. Let me know where you're coming from as a viewer of the show. And beyond that, someone did ask, are we at that $500 threshold for Patreon? And we are so close. We'll probably get there today. We're 1 or 2 members away from getting to that point. As soon as that happens, we're going to start a monthly race. We're going to bounce each month from sim to sim to sim because I don't want to exclude anybody, but it means that if we, BRVT, I'll put that map up at the Sim Pit so you can check it out. But if I pick iRacing for the first race, then a lot of people aren't going to be able to do it because, let's face it, not everybody's in iRacing. Same thing goes if I pick Assetto Corsa. So no matter what I pick, there's going to be people who can't make it. And I apologize in advance for that. But in order to make that up to everybody, will switch sims from month to month to month. That way, each month when we do our monthly race, we can still all get together, as many of us, for each and every sim. Each of those races, I'll put up a t-shirt, make that t-shirt available to a random winner. And I think, just to be fair, because if I pick iRacing and you can't race, well, you should still be eligible for the shirt. So for those events, there will be a shirt at stake in honor of the event to any patron member. And as soon as we hit that $500 mark, we're going to start that. And as soon as we hit that $100 mark, we're going to start a new goal with an even bigger perk for the crowd when we get to that point. So more and more to come from not just the Simpit, but the patron program as well. And if you're watching the show, you know perfectly well that program is all added bonuses to that group. It's never taken away, and it never will take anything away from the Simpit, the Pitstop, or anything we do on a daily basis. I guarantee you that. Another one of our goals, if you see here right there at the bottom of the screen, we are trying real hard to push to 50,000 subscribers. So today's my big pitch day. It's Friday. We are trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, and that is a huge, huge goal. We're over 18,000. That would be almost a 50% increase. So we are going to go ahead and just keep pushing it. I'm targeting my birthday, which is May 21st. Can we, by May, get to 50,000 subscribers? So if you're watching the show and you're not, please subscribe to the channel. Share this video. Thumbs up. Go to our Facebook page. Share our content there. Let people know what we're doing so we can keep getting bigger. I will let you know that I have some things going behind the scenes. You've seen Mitchie as an addition to the show. There are a few other people who are looking to get involved right now that I've been talking to. So we are at an expansion phase. The patron program is all part of it. You guys, the pit crew, are all part of it, and my goal is just to keep pushing and get the Simpit crowd going bigger and stronger and bring you even more content on a daily basis. That is my big goal for 2018. So, beyond that, happy Friday to everybody out there. People love Fridays. Friday's always a fun day to end the work week and start our weekends off. Big deal for me this weekend with the Rolex, with the Daytona 24-hour race. So I'm pumped up and excited for all sorts of cool things. And I will see you for those streams, and then I'll be back on Monday with a new edition of Pitstop to kick off next week. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.